Well, my name's Robert Smith. I go by Bob. Like most guys of my generation, we always shortened it. And what actually happened was that my mum passed away at Lessard. She was only there for a couple of days, but it gave me an opportunity to kind of become part of the Innisfree Lessard family. Because, you know, once you walk through the door, you are immediately kind of enveloped in this care that's extended not only to the resident but also to the family members. So even though she was only there for about 2 days, once she passed away, I was immediately offered the option of attending family time. This was back in 2020, and I just began family time down at Lessard, and then of course COVID hit and everything was put on hold. When coffee time started up again, which it did last year, I joined. I came back as a participant with a couple of the original participants, and we've just gathered more and more people into coffee time because it becomes addictive. And so we just keep growing and growing and growing, and we have, you know, we must have almost a dozen people now, I think. It's a good time. You know, we basically just talk about general subjects and one thing and another, but if someone's having a hard time, someone's having an anniversary or whatever, everybody extends, you know, special care to that person. And coffee time is just wonderful. I mean, it's something to look forward to every week, and I think we all feel that way. It's kind of an oasis. If you're just looking at the four walls, and if you have a bad day, you know that coffee time is coming up, and you'll have empathy, and you'll have a few laughs and some general conversation. I don't think the importance can be overrated. My dad died of cancer in his mid-50s, and that was back in the 70s. And they were nice enough to him at Scarborough General. I mean, he wasn't in pain or anything, he wasn't neglected, but once he was gone, that was it. My mother, who was in her mid-50s, it was harder on her than on me. I was young, but I wasn't that close to my dad. I regretted his going, but it was much more traumatic for my mom, and nothing, no counseling, no anything, no help, that's it. You're on your own, your husband's gone, and you know. And the difference between her situation then and the way I'd been treated since my mom passed on is just like night and day. Now, when my mom arrived here, she was actually in a coma, and she was only here for 2 days. I bitterly regret not having had her in a few days before that. If I'd known more about hospice care, I think I would have done that, because anything they could do they couldn't really do that much for her, but whatever they could do, they did. I mean, she was treated just as though she was a member of the family. It was incredible. I know people have sometimes had a loved one here for months, and they'd be able to address resident care much more than I could. All I can say is that the last 2 days of my mom's life, she was treated incredibly respectfully and with great care. Really, I have been, in this case, the beneficiary, because from the moment I arrived at Lessard, which was on a dark and stormy night, and I hadn't eaten for 3 days, I hadn't slept for 3 days, I was just enveloped in the care, the empathy, the compassion, and that has never stopped, just gone on. I have never, in 71 years of life, in any context, whether it's school, church, charitable organization, hospital, I have never witnessed so many people devoting themselves so selflessly and so utterly to alleviating the suffering of other people for no other reason than, I would have to say, sheer goodness. To my mind, what goes on here is not just about caring for dying people. It's not just for caring about survivors. It honestly, and if this sounds corny, please forgive me, it renews my faith in humanity to come here, to see everybody, the volunteers, the PSWs, the nurses, the social work staff, to see them dedicating themselves every day the way they do. As I say, it restores my faith in the human race.